Okay, we are recording. Hello, everybody. This is John Dade, your host for the Business of Networking radio show. And it's a show where we talk about and discuss, the why and how, of effective business networking and the many benefits that can be derived from that. We're part of the Golden Seals production broadcast. And I'm excited to have with me today as our special guest, Mr. Dan Leonard. He's the Vice President of Endeavor Mortgage Group here in Seal Beach, California. Morning, Dan.
Morning.
All right.
Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you. Glad to have you on board here. Tell us a little bit about, Endeavor Mortgage, how you got involved, your area of expertise, and then we'll talk a little bit about, because I know you're a great networker, and we'll touch on that in a minute. A little bit about you and what you're doing.
Yeah, great. So I've been with Endeavor Mortgage since 2007. Been doing mortgages overall since about 2005, so about 15 years now. And came out of that. I had a financial planning background before that. It was just kind of a natural fit when I was looking to potentially change change careers to go into the mortgage and loan business at that time. Okay. And so, we just, it's been great. It's been, we've been through a couple of interesting times now between 2007 and 8, and now what's going on today. But, it's been really good overall.
Good. Well, known you for a couple of years, and one of the reasons I wanted to have you join us on the program, because it is, all about networking and what have you. I met you originally through a mutual friend of ours, Mary Sadat, because you have a very unique, with Mary, a very unique networking group called the Master's Lunch Pay It Forward program. Can you tell me a little bit about that and how that developed?
Yeah, so, it's really interesting how it came together. It really didn't set out to be what it is now kind of turned into, which is great. But really, there was a specific speaker at the first lunch that had really been instrumental in my business career and whatnot, and I wanted to start an event so I could bring some of the things that I had learned from her to other people in the business community, and I wanted to kind of help her out and give her some exposure and a speaking engagement. So I arranged a lunch and invited 30 or so. We invited 30. I think we had about 30 people at the first one, and just gave her, the opportunity to speak. I thought it might be good for her. It might help the people that were coming, as she had some unique perspectives on different things. And it kind of grew from there. So it really was the concept of Pay It Forward was really the concept of how it was born. It was really just trying to help somebody that was instrumental for me, like get some exposure and maybe launch another avenue to have a different side of a career.
Okay. So the concept behind the Pay It Forward program, and you and Mary and the members of the group are very good at that. It's not about traditional business networking where you go in and first thing you're trying to do is people are trying to sell you something, they're trying to give you a business card, they're trying to nail you right then, do it now, buy it from me. Your approach, which I found refreshing, because of my background and experience in networking, is more of how can I help you? How can I connect you? How can I help you grow with, basically no expectations, but on a pay it forward concept of knowing that, it could or could not come back somewhere down the road. It's about, paying your dues now and without expectations. And I found that refreshing.
Yeah, that's really the secret of this whole success of the event, I think, in the series, is that that's really truly what it is about. And I found throughout all kinds of different things, including marketing and networking, that if I go in with the expectation, with the thought process of how can I help you, or how can I help the people that are coming, or maybe I can help introduce them to other people that are coming, it'll ultimately come back to me without me having to try to make that happen. Like without deliberately pushing myself or pushing my services.
Yeah,
It will eventually just organically come back to me.
exactly.
Because I always have worked from the standpoint through business that people do business with people that they like and that they trust. And so if I'm genuine and I'm trying to help other people when they think about doing loans or mortgages or real estate or whatever, it's natural that they might think of my way.
Exactly. And it makes your expectations, you always meet your expectations when you go
Yeah,
pay it forward, because you have no expectations going in. You're there to give and not expect in return. So
correct.
you always walk out feeling good and what have you, because you've met your expectations.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, I've met some great people at the networking event and what have you. As you know, I'm a cigar enthusiast and
Yeah,
scotch and rum and tequila enthusiast.
absolutely.
So we like to spread the good cheer and
Yeah.
what have you. And I've met some, members that came in and joined our group, the Cigar Night Business Picture group.
Yeah, which is great.
Yourself and Mary.
Yeah.
And again, it's about the concept of bringing people together in a very comfortable atmosphere, no
Yeah.
pressure. Almost, I mean, when I first started this, my wife says, all you're doing is smoking and drinking and partying. And I shared with her, well, yeah, you're kind of right, but it's a party with a purpose.
Yeah.
And the purpose is to build relationships and
Yeah.
build a network and connect people. And you always walk away happy.
Well, we met one of our speakers at one of your events. David Rolander, yeah, was one of our speakers at our events, and I had met him first at one of your cigar events. So that's how it interworks.
Perfect. See, there it is. And it's a synergy. And I was just with him last night. He was at our event last night. I know you network personally on a personal level, and business level.
Yeah.
What got you into networking? Why do you network? And, what types of networking do you do other than your own group that you have?
So pretty much, I think relationships are the key to business. I think they're the key to life. I think, but the key to business, since we're on a business show, there's other ways to market, right? There's direct to consumer marketing. There's other things you can do. But I have found that for me, the best way to grow my business for a lasting, long-term success is through developing relationships with good people that are like-minded to myself. Mm-hmm. And so, I try to approach it from that standpoint. I try to make a friend, not just a business associate, and so that's kind of, what's developed. And so anytime I go to any type of a marketing event or a networking event, that's the approach that I have when I step foot in the room is like, I'm going to try to find somebody, I'm going to genuinely be interested in their business and what they're trying to do, and I'm going to try to help them and see if I can't make a relationship that can last a long time. Excellent.
Now, do you're in the mortgage industry, primary residential, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Some business or commercial?
Yeah, some commercial. We do commercial as well. Okay. But most of my focus tends to be in the residential arena.
Okay. Do you find that aligning yourself as well with related industry, professionals also helps with the networking? Maybe people in escrow or title or things like that?
Yeah. So we have a lot of realtors, for example, that come to our business. As I mentioned, I have a financial planning background, so a lot of CPAs, a lot of financial planners that attend. But what's interesting is and I try to keep this approach, is you never know. One of my best referral sources for business is a secretary at a large aerospace company. And we did her loan for her. She loves it. She was real happy, and she went on to refer a lot of the higher executives and the people in the company. She was kind of that that person where everybody kind of went to Rosemary for the for advice. And so you truly never know. You know what I mean? So we try to, if you're like-minded and you're somebody that that kind of fits the mold of wanting to pay it forward and wanting to do those things, it kind of organically fits, and you just never know what you're going to get from.
Excellent. Yeah, it's interesting in that respect. I'm in the financial services business as well. Yeah. your background is there. We've talked about that. My focus is alternative investment strategies, diversification of the portfolio. But again, I align myself with different people, the CPAs, we have that in common, independent investment advisors, and what have you. And again, some of my best referral sources have come from actual financial advisors who don't offer or are licensed to offer what I do in the commodity side. And they see the benefit of having their portfolio, their clients' portfolios diversified, especially with today's chaotic markets, okay,
right,
into something that can help.
And that's the great thing is that, sometimes I get other mortgage people that don't have all the products that are out there that are referral sources for me. So you can take what would seem to be a competitive relationship and turn it into a mutually beneficial situation.
Yeah, a synergistic relationship. Yeah, it works well. And again, even though I'm licensed on both sides of the street, the commodity side and the what we call traditional side, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, my expertise is on the alternative side. So I will refer people out to advisors who are looking for a niche product, that I don't offer, reverse mortgages or settlements, what do they call those, life settlements and things like that. So it again, it's that synergy.
Yeah, and one of the things that I think, about some of the events that we have, one of the things I would share with somebody if they were thinking about putting an event together is, the people that are there, in the concept of that pay it forward. If I just were to host an event that was all realtors, well, that doesn't really present any business opportunities for them. And so really, making it a nice mix. So we don't really, there's no targeted per se market other than just the thought process of, coming in with that pay it forward mentality of like, hey, so it's not just all about me when I'm handing out, like you said, I'm handing out business card after business card, and I'm not, so as long as you have that, really we want people from all walks of life because they're potentially even if they're not a business partner for me, they might be a business partner for each other, and that just makes the network and the group that much more, healthy.
Exactly. We do similar to ours. We don't limit it to any one particular number of professionals.
Right.
It's a mix of all types of things.
Yeah.
And again, because it's about building relationships and personality. And let's be honest, not everybody likes me, and I don't like everybody else.
Right.
So if I don't like someone, and this is one of the restrictions I found in some of the other networking groups, where you have, one of this and one of that, and one of this, and there's 20 of you, and you have to do business with that group. And if I don't get along with the person, I'm not going to refer somebody to them. So it gives us the diversity, the way you said it was structured, to you may not get along with this real estate person or mortgage person, but you and this other mortgage person, Dan, hit it off and away you go. So it gives us the flexibility. I mean, last night we had our networking group at the Center Club, our cigar mixer, and a good friend of mine from a different group was asking me about international real estate and things like that, and international nonprofits. Well, I had two lawyers there and another person that's an international traveler. I put them all together. They didn't have the answer, but they knew people that did, so they made the connection.
Right.
And
that's great.
Yeah, that's what.
One of the best things for me is when I hear, through the grapevine that people that have met at one of our events are doing business together. Yeah. So that's super, really cool.
That's right there in the book, and in one of my chapters, it's the rush I get. It's great getting business, but the rush I get is when I get that phone call and says, "Hey, you introduced me to so and so. We got together last week and we're doing business." I mean, that means that shares with me it's working. Yeah,
that's exactly what it's all about, and so I think that's that's great. So that I know your group, but all my interactions with your groups have always been that way. Yeah. And you're always generous with sharing the book for people and stuff like that. So we really appreciate it.
We have fun. We have fun. If you got a network, why not have fun?
That's it, right?
Now I want you to share maybe one of your networking success stories where it all came together.
I think the that what I was sharing earlier with that first luncheon, you know, I had no idea where it was going to go. You know, you mentioned Mary Sadat earlier, our mutual friend. So she's been so instrumental in, you know, the implementation of the plan, right? So we have this idea and this concept, but then you got to actually, you know, make it happen. And she's been amazing at creating the group and keeping the group together even through this time, right? So, you know, that group, for example, is primarily a get-together lunch group, or it was. And so now you know, with everything that's happening in the world, obviously things have changed, and she's done an amazing job of pivoting to a Zoom-based platform and still giving people exposure and getting them together and all that type of stuff. And it, you know, so I would say that what really solidified how I always want to network was after we had that first event, having no idea what was going to happen out of it, no expectations. And we started with a group of about 30, and now there's almost 800 in that group that are on the, you know, between the Facebook pages and stuff. And it's so just the growth of that and how it truly, it was almost unintentional that it became what it is today. It really was just trying to pay it forward, and you know, it's been a great success for us.
That's why I like going, because it works. I mean, I have my own networking group, so, you know, quote unquote, I don't need to do a lot of networking.
Yeah.
Yours is one of only 2 in Southern California that I go to.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
The other one, we'll interview them later, but only because, and I've gone to a lot of, and I'm sure you probably have too, gone to a lot of networking, invited to a lot of different networking, and you walk out going, that was a waste of an hour or 2 hours or whatever.
Yeah.
Yours, when I get the invite, it's a testament to the success. The first 30 get accepted, or the first 25. After that, sorry, you know, you want a waiting list. I mean, that's awesome. That's awesome.
It's been
it's a testament to the success of it.
Well, I think there, you know, one of the things that I noticed different than and I noticed this with your group too. Obviously, you're having fun and doing those things. Is the people are relaxed because nobody's trying to pressure them. They don't feel under pressure that, you know, that somebody's going to come up and, you know, that they're it's not that rigid business network that you can see where everybody's just trying to pitch themselves and their own product, which I see so often at some networking events. And so that's really what I think, just the relaxation of, you know, hey, have lunch, enjoy yourselves, and no expectations, and hopefully you get something out of it.
Absolutely. And I've always walked away with a good feeling and a good vibe and a new friend.
And the same goes for your groups too. That's why I think we gravitated, you know what I mean, to you know, because that's the same feel as I get when I attended the cigars.
Right. Now I'm going to put you on the spot. Okay. Everybody shares good stuff. I mean, we all talk in big, right? It ain't real. We know what it is. Okay. Tell me share one of your horror stories, your networking horror stories.
So I went to a networking event that was kind of described as a networking event. A friend asked me to come, and I was like, you know, I said okay, and I went, and it was a 4-hour event that you know, it was a long event, and it became pretty apparent early on that it was a recruiting session for a network marketing group that was completely disguised as a networking event, right? And it was really just to try to get you to sign up, you know, the same, you know, in the Amway kind of way. And so, you know, and the thing was it was a friend, so I was kind of, you know, I probably would have ducked out a little early if I could, but I was there because of who I was with. I kind of stuck it out through the whole thing. So it was a little rough. It was
a little ambush there. Huh?
Yeah, it was a little ambush, and it was a little you know, it was like, oh, okay, this is what we're here for. So, you know, it was interesting.
I'm sure you handled it with finesse.
I tried.
Well, we're about ready to wrap up, Dan. I appreciate your time, and I know you got a busy day ahead, and what have you. Any tips you want to share? Any final, parting shots you want to share with the
I think a couple things. I think we hit on it, but I think really go in with if I'm going to a networking event, I'm going in with a mindset of really trying to actively listen to the people that I'm meeting with and seeing where I can potentially help them, rather than going in trying to, overly sell myself or my products or whatever. I think if I do that and I help them, then it just organically will come back to me. And so I really try to keep that mindset whenever I'm either hosting an event or going to an event. Is really, it's almost counterintuitive, but that's just the way I've always found it to be the best.
Well, go ahead.
Yeah. No, that's really the number one thing I think that I try to do is really, I approach it as if I'm really, trying to go to meet new people, and the best way to meet new people is to listen, ask questions and listen about them and find out what they do, what interests them, and help them.
Well, it certainly worked, because you're certainly, all the ones I've been to the last couple of years, a very gracious host and put on a wonderful event and treat everybody with respect, and everybody comes up to you with the greatest respect. So it's a testament to what you're doing and how you approach.
And I do want to once again give Mary Sadat a lot of the credit for that, because she's the one behind the scenes that's putting it all together. So
we're gonna
a great job.
We're Mary here in the next couple of weeks. So
you got it.
You get a chance to do as well. So, and yeah, she's one to introduce me to it and very integral. So you make a great team. We're going to be signing off now, folks. It's a pleasure. We've had Dan Leonard with us as our guest. He's the Vice President of Endeavor Mortgage here in Seal Beach, California. And Dan, what's your email? How can I reach out to you? Your contact information?
Yeah, so we are located in Seal Beach. My email address is dleonard, so dleonard @Endeavor, ENDEAVOR MTG.com.
All right.
And
phone number?
Phone number is 562-431-3001.
Okay, we'll make sure everybody has this when we get it posted and what have you. We'll put some logo up there and everything. So we're going to be signing off. I want to thank everybody for joining us. Again, my name is John Dade. I'm the host of the Business of Networking radio show, broadcast through Golden Seal Productions. And it's been a pleasure having our guest, Dan Leonard, with us. We will be talking down the road, I'm sure. Good to see you at the next networking event, Dan.
Look forward to it. In person this time, John, not over Zoom next time.
No worries. You get so many emails. I'm sure you just missed that one.
You got it.
All right. You take care and have a great week. Okay.
All right. You too, bud. Bye-bye.